No, we got to. Just freeze him there.
There you go. Are you there?
There you go. Hello. I can see you.
This week on Positively Godless.
Go on.
This week on Positively Godless. That's all I have to say. Nah, actually, no. We talk about the Supreme Court ruling on marriage equality. And we may derail from the topic. We may not derail from the topic. Who knows? It's Positively Godless.
And we're back.
Spoiler, we derail.
Crazy over under feeling crazy. It was no wonder you're just making me crazy.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Positively Godless. Did you miss us, yo? Sorry, we were gone last week. We had schedule conflicts. We just couldn't make it work. Happens. It's life. Want to pay us? Then we'll put it out an episode every week.
And we come back saucy.
So, I guess we'll just start. I don't want to dedicate
You already
too
did.
much time of this. Oh yeah, we have Scott Lawrence over there, I think, and Tyler's over there somewhere. or Scott's over there and Tyler's over there. I don't know.
It's been a week. We forgot how to do this already.
I'm sandwiched between two men, and that's usually the way I like it.
My God. Tyler, you got a haircut?
Wow. Nope.
Nope, he got them all cut.
Oh, God.
There you go.
Wow.
So, I don't want to talk about this too long because then it gives them whatever.
Nope.
But oh my God, because I said everything on the comments of the last episode. Like I have really nothing to say, but I know Scott, you might have wanted to say one or two things. I don't know if Tyler, you wanted to say one or two things, but holy crap, you atheist! What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
You can't say that they're bad people if you act just like them.
Yeah, I won't say last week, but our last guest, and I mean that with all due respect, Rand Campbell was phenomenal. And you know why he gets upset. You know why he gets the way that his reputation is. It's because of the comments that we received. And Jerry, you had to rein a few people in and saying, "Look, that's not how we perceived him," and even Rand got into it, and he actually said to Rand, like, "Don't let him get to you."
I told them don't let them get to them.
Yeah, but we had so many comments, and it goes back to the same damn comments that we get all the time of, "Oh, you should have challenged him more. You should have asked him this." Like, again, we are not a debate show.
Go watch Matt Dillahunty if that's what you want to see.
Yeah, go watch that stuff. We want to get to know people as people. Sorry, I can't. We've said it. I don't know how many times, but
I guess you know that saying goes. How that saying goes. You can say it till you're blue in the face.
I'm purple, red now.
Yeah. Tyler, anything you want to say?
No, I already said my part during the episode. We went over that and we predicted exactly what was going to happen.
Right.
And It didn't fail us.
Tyler, I have to say, I like this whole look of you in the t-shirt, and it just like, did you lose weight since the last 2 weeks since I saw you? Because I don't know.
Nope.
All
It's just
right.
my good looking side.
Yeah, there you go.
Which side?
No, this is vacation me.
Are you still on vacation?
I'm on vacation until next Tuesday, so I've been out in the sun, haircut. I don't have to dress up for work.
We'll see you next Tuesday.
Really?
Well, he set me up for that. Are you
Yeah,
are
yeah,
you
yeah.
at home now, or are you actually out in another part of the
No,
state?
I'm at home. We are leaving tomorrow for an
Okay.
extended
We're
weekend.
leaving on a jet plane.
Okay. So that
Hmm.
doesn't go anywhere. Where are you going?
Washington D.C.
Oh,
Ooh, you're gonna
fun.
be at my neck of the woods.
We're going out to see my brother. So
Why don't you take a train, Jerry, and meet Tyler?
Because I don't take trains.
You taken the train with me.
Yeah,
That was
I had a
gross.
bad experience that day.
Yeah, I remember that. Remember that?
No, I don't
That
remember.
woman that got sick on the train?
No, I think you're making. Ooh,
I'm not
sorry, Tyler.
making things up at all. Woman got sick on the train coming back from New York.
Oh yeah, I don't remember.
Oh God. Anyway,
You're derailing the show.
I'm not derailing the show. I'm making the show the way it usually is every time we do this.
Guess what I learned how to do, Tyler?
what's that?
I learned how to share screen.
Ooh,
So
fancy.
can we try it for this episode?
Well, nobody's gonna be able to see it. Wait,
Well,
you share your screen on Skype?
Yeah.
yeah.
What?
You ready?
Oh boy.
And editing now.
Yeah. What are we gonna? Uh oh.
Oh, I was showing Scott something before you came on, but this is what I wanted to talk. Oh,
It
this
was
is what I
dirty.
wanted to talk about.
It was dirty.
Can you see that?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is this is two gentlemen, David Moore and his partner, David Ermold.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, David and David?
Carry
Yep.
on.
Okay.
This is them before
Well,
walking into the Rowan County Clerk's office to obtain a marriage license.
yeah.
You've heard the
So,
story.
I mean, we don't have to read the whole article or anything like that, but there's the Rowan County clerk. See her? See her?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Denying marriage licenses to people
Hi, Kim Davis. How are you?
of her religious belief.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And OMG. So they went there. I mean, you can watch this video if you want. I'll send you the link actually to put it in the description. But basically, this is what I wanted to talk about. We all know that I'm going to stop sharing now. I hope that worked the way I wanted it to. We'll see you on Sunday. This is what I want to talk about. Like, it's law. It is what it is. The Supreme Court came down and finally said, stop being the way you are and do it, because that's what we want. So I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that,
To clarify,
because this religious
just
freedom
this-
crap is really getting on my nerves.
well, right, but to clarify, we did not record last week, which is when we probably would have talked about the Supreme Court decision,
Yeah.
which made it, legal for all marriages in all 50 states, and not to strike down any state bans against what we would classify as gay marriage. But what I find interesting in you bringing this up is because while we were texting that day when all of this was happening and all of it was going down, I don't even remember exactly your response, but it was something along the lines of, well, just wait, this isn't the end of the road. There's still going to be plenty of people challenging this and all that kind of
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, I did.
Which I thought was, I don't want to say funny, but I just thought it was interesting that, I was sitting at work watching all of this unfold, and I was watching CNN Go on the computer, and um, watching all of this and the main litigant in the case. I apologize, I forgot what his name is and whatnot, but he was speaking and all of that kind of stuff. But um, the fact that all of this is going down, and like I'm super excited, and I'm like, yes, this is great. I mean, this has been such a long time coming, and then you had just had your nonchalant answer of, okay, well, yeah, but this isn't the end of it,
It's
like that type
certainly
of
not.
thing.
Yeah. And it's really the beginning. I mean, it's just come on. Like this goes back to didn't we talked about this, I think episode 3 when we did the gay agenda.
Yep.
And I said it then that um, that marriage is not addressed in the Constitution. It doesn't say one man, one woman, two men, two women. It's not there.
But
What is in the Constitution is the 14th Amendment that gives us all equal protection. And if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, basically. And just can't be claiming religious beliefs in order to discriminate. I mean, it's they just should get with the times because they're already starting to get struck down. Scott, you brought up something interesting earlier before Tyler came on when we were talking about the governor in Kentucky. I forget what his name was. What did he say to the county, all
I
these county
I don't
clerks?
know if it was the governor or I can't remember if it was the governor or the supervisor of the person, but they said either issue the marriage license or resign, and that was posted today. And unfortunately, I can't find the article right now, but and I'm not talented enough on Skype to find it, but it was on Facebook, and the guy who denied the license, the person who denied the license said, "I'd rather go to jail than issue out a marriage license." And I want to actually add our former guest into this topic, and that's Mr. Paul Ridgway. This ruling happened about 2 weeks ago, a little bit less, a day less than 2 weeks ago.
Right, just to put it in perspective, we had recorded our episode with Rand Campbell on Thursday, and this all came down on Friday. So the edited episode and everything with Rand actually happened after that, and
Right.
yeah.
So, Paul, I've listened to Paul on the way home from work, and 70% of his show was all about the gays getting married. And I was getting upset. I didn't call a show. I wanted to because I wanted to know, is sin equal on all parts? And it's why are we having such an obsession over homosexuality? Why are we having so much obsession over rights, freedom? Why is this? Why is this? We don't. The three of us run a non-believer talk show weekly. Do we ever say, "Don't go to church"? Go to church. We're not stopping you. Why are we stopping people from getting married and people from being happy. Jerry, are you happily married?
Yeah.
There you go.
Scott, did your marriage fall apart because or marriage equality is legal?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Jerry, because Elsa and I are actually in the process of separating right now because of the Supreme Court ruling. It hurts. It really does because homosexuals can get married, and we're struggling with that, and we can't be married anymore because you have that freedom that you've taken away from us. We don't have the freedoms anymore because you had the freedom, and we can't share your freedom. I'm kidding. Damn it.
We know you're kidding.
I know, but that's the ridiculousness of this argument. It's so stupid. Elsa and I are very happily married, and we applaud people to be happily. Oh God, I'm just gonna get on a rant. It's not even the end of the show yet.
So I found that because I use Android operating system, I found, and I don't use the Gmail application because the Gmail application is terrible. Google, fix the Gmail application. It's terrible. Oh, and by the way, why on earth did you change my security settings without my knowledge and my permission?
I don't think Google's watching, but go on.
This is what happened. I stopped getting emails for like a week because I don't use the Gmail application. I use a separate application. So, and I couldn't sign into this application with my Gmail username and password. And then I went on the computer and it said, it blocked like 30 sign-in attempts from this application. I'm like, hello. So I had to go and do two-step verification. I'm so mad. That I had to do two-step verification. It's just a pain in the butt. But the email came. I got it today. In our little email group from Nate or Doug in the email group.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You said that. Yeah.
I wanted to read that, but it's so far back I can't find it. Because I forget which one of them said they're struggling with their heterosexuality now because
It was Doug.
it was Doug. It was just really kind of funny. I'm trying to find it so I can read it. Great. I hope you guys are still with us because this is such riveting.
So this happened on July
discussion.
1st. I hope that all of you in traditional marriages are carefully attentive to your marital unions. Now that same-sex marriage has been blessed by the Supreme Court, those of us who are married to opposite-sex partners can expect challenges to the
resoluteness.
Thank you. Why don't you read it? You can read better than I can.
Oh my gosh. Now that same-sex marriage has been blessed by the Supreme Court, those of us who are married to opposite-sex partners can expect challenges to the resoluteness of our marriages. At least this is what we should expect from many of those who have been challenging the legitimacy of same-sex unions. I am being vigilant, and so far have not detected any shifts in fidelity in my marriage. I will keep up my guard, though. One can never be too careful in these changing times. Jerry, I am of the thought that that you now feel more secure in your marriage. I hope that is the case. It won't be long until we no longer need quotes when describing the marriage that you and so many other deserving couples have been blessed with. Kind regards, Doug. So,
Doug.
A fun little poke and jab, but then also the seriousness that he brings out so well within our group as well. And that was one thing that I heard so much on that Friday, but especially the days after that, was talking about, again, having to use the quotes or the terminology of, there no longer is, and there never should have been, straight marriage and gay marriage. Is marriage. And that's it.
Agreed.
And leave it at that. And the fact that hopefully now my kids can grow up in a world where marriage is a thing. That's it. Whether you're going to or not, and whether who it's to, those are all different things. But it's just marriage, and that's it. So
Right.
Right. Go on, Jerry. I'm looking something up. Sorry.
Well, I loved Doug's response. Right to Nate's response to Doug. He says, "Thank you for the heads up. I actually noticed something the other day that I found troubling. I was watching the Green Lantern movie the day after the Supreme Court ruling came down, and while prior to the decision, I have watched that movie unimpeded. Since that decision, I realized that I found myself enjoying Ryan Reynolds in his form-fitting Green Lantern uniform a bit more than I have in the past." Well, Ryan Reynolds in that uniform and not in that uniform is just beautiful. So, yeah, Nate, you're not. I'm glad. Apparently, those who have so vociferously opposed marriage equality were right, and this is having an impact on my heterosexual marriage. I will keep an eye on that. Like, I mean, it's all in jest, but seriously, I don't understand.
Yeah,
What's
this is the same
wrong.
thing that happened in 1967 where interracial marriages were a big issue. Everyone was picketing that and protesting against that.
and we all see what the world is like now.
Yeah, and we all.
It didn't change it, but I don't understand. Like, that's the thing. Like, why do we have to keep going in this circle of everything? Like, okay, like in the 60s when we were talking about interracial marriage, and now it's, same-sex marriage. It's all the same freaking thing.
There's always going to be bigots as long as there is religion. I'm just going to say it.
Okay, so that's a good question then. So do you think...
It's not a question, it's a fact.
Okay, then I get that, but what I'm asking you is that, do you think that the bigotry is backed by religion?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, you're the one that's been listening to Paul's show for the last 2 weeks. You tell me.
Yes.
So there you go.
And it's funny because it's always camouflaged, and we've said this before, where I love gay people, and
my best friend's gay.
Yeah, my best friend's gay, and all that bull crap, and I've been listening. Yeah, I've been pretty much the only one that's listening to Paul's show, unless Doug's been listening to it. I'm sure he has, and I think Nate has as well, because I sent messages to Nate like, "I'm going to lose it," and he's like, "Paul, yes," and it's no different. It's really no different. It is absolute bigotry, and even an email I sent out, a couple of weeks ago, where people were saying, well, maybe it's not hate speech that he's doing. You're damn right it's hate speech. Blinded by or camouflaged by, but I love you. If you're gonna use your Bible against homosexuality, then frickin' stone him. Sorry, Jerry, love you, but stone. No, I'm being serious.
I know.
Stone him. If you're going to go back to your biblical principles of homosexuality and start quoting verses, don't quote this and not quote that. You can't cherry pick the good stuff in the Bible. Sorry.
Right. Or you can't take the part that it applies to the bad stuff of other people, but doesn't apply to the bad stuff that you do or say or think or anything like that. It's just... I just don't.
And what pisses me off is the whole thing that we've heard Paul say, and I don't want to make this a Paul episode at all, because he's not here to defend himself, but we've all heard it.
I'm not there to defend myself when he's saying stuff about gay people, so who cares?
okay, you're right. But we've all sinned and come short of the glory of God. Then shut up, because if you're going to say that crap, we've all sinned and come short of the glory of God, then every sin is equal. You can't go ahead and say, because you're gay, and I know I'm funny, because you're gay. Oh, you're not talking to me. Okay, because you're gay, because you have these rights, doesn't mean I can get to pick on you. It's bullcrap.
Well,
Sorry, I got to
I'm
rant.
sorry. I'm not a sinner. I don't go around doing things that are bad on purpose. I'm not a
Right,
sinner.
right, and that's what ticks me off the most is
And
that
but
like,
how can but that's another thing
oh, oh no,
like why are we going
oh, Jerry,
Jerry.
Jerry, Jerry,
Yeah, I'm here.
try it again.
Hey there, Tyler.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's another
Uh,
thing. Go from that part.
Yeah, and that's
that's
another thing.
another thing.
No, just start over what you were saying.
Oh, well, I mean, going back to the whole um you know, I said you heard me say I'm not a sinner.
Yeah,
I don't go around doing stuff bad and just, being bad to other people on purpose. But, you can't say everybody's a sinner and then go around and then spew this hate speech and, act the way you do and then say, but I'm going to ask for forgiveness, so it's all okay.
right.
But even
Yeah.
something like that, though, that's not something like the last 2 weeks on Paul's show, just as an example, because that's what we've been talking about. That's not something that Paul even views as needing to ask for forgiveness because he's in the right. Like that's a totally different category. And I totally see what you're saying, Jerry, because there are plenty of other things that, again, we all fall short, of the,
That's what I said.
whatever. Right. But when the perspective from that side, it's looked at so differently because Paul's hate speech, and again, I don't mean to be picking solely on Paul. I'm just using him because that's what we've already established. But anybody's hate speech on that side, or speaking out, or this lady denying the license in Kentucky, or anything like that. None of that would be something that they would be asking for forgiveness for, because to them they are 100% completely in the right. They are doing what they believe they should be doing according to the Bible. Because evidently, Jesus would be preaching about how not to love the person that you love and to be discriminatory towards people, according to
But
them.
but then you are supposed to, isn't one of the 10 Commandments love thy neighbor?
Unless they live with the same-sex partner.
Yeah, because I didn't see that written on Moses' tablets.
That's in the addendum version of the King James Bible.
Oh, okay. Look, I must have missed that.
It says unless you're a top or a bottom.
Well, technically, you're a top.
How do you know that?
No,
Well,
technically Scott's the bottom.
Why am I the bottom?
Oh, you made me snort.
It would not be an episode of Positively Godless
If I didn't snort,
unless I had to pee.
you did it before.
I got a weak bladder. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't swear. It's good.
Right now, you did earlier.
I said
You
shit.
frustrate me so much.
Okay,
Jerry, I want to share. I want to try sharing my screen and see if this works.
Okay.
Because I want to go back to. Wait, hang on. You sent something awesome. I found absolutely hilarious.
Did I?
Share your entire screen. Share a window. Here we go. Start. There we go. Can you see it?
Oh, did I send this?
Yes, you sent this. You sent
I
this
do
to our
remember
our
this.
group here, and it's a flow chart against are you against gay marriage, and the yellow side over here, that's the short one. That's
Mhm.
pretty nice and easy. Are you against gay marriage because of the Bible? No. All right. Well, then you're all done with this chart. Really? I can go? Yep. Yay. But the more interesting side, and this goes back to kind of what we were talking about before, in that, picking and choosing the parts that you want to believe from the Bible and all that. Are you against gay marriage because of the Bible? Yes. Okay, even though Jesus never once mentions gay marriage. Yes, because gay stuff is banned in the book of Leviticus. All right, do you eat bacon? Are you kidding? I love bacon. Well, Leviticus specifically bans the eating of pork and pork products. But, no buts, it's a sin. Fine, just eat lots and lots of I'll eat lots and lots of shrimp. Bad news, Slappy. What, son of a... Nice tattoo. Thanks, it's a tattoo of Jesus eating bacon. Tattoos are also banned in Leviticus. But it's a tattoo of Jesus. Yeah, and is he ever sending you straight to hell for that? But, no buts. You don't get to pick and choose which parts of God's word you're going to follow. Also, that's a nice wedding ring. Thanks, it's gold. You know what else the Bible forbids? No, adorning yourself with gold. But my wife and I love gold. Your first wife? No, my second wife. My first wife and I got divorced. Mark 10:9. What God has joined together, let no man separate. Oh, yeah. So, and then the last box here. Remember, before joining a major religion, you should really read all the paperwork.
I've seen that. That's awesome.
Yeah, Jerry sent this to us in the group, and because of what we were talking about before, and picking and choosing the portions that you want to believe,
Right.
and that you want to harp on, and we've talked about this in previous episodes of people picking out that portion, but the foods that people eat and the clothes that people wear, and Scott, you and I at least have heard the argument. I don't remember if Paul was making the argument on our episode or if he did that with us aside, but making the argument of, oh, well, we really didn't, back then they didn't have the technology, and we've learned so much since then, and both. It's the
Technology for
same
what?
thing.
Yeah.
Oh, well, in terms of like keeping pork fresh or shrimp and things like that, so that people didn't get sick and all of that kind of stuff, and technology as far as food storage and preparation has changed so much over the years. But you know what?
Wait,
So have social issues. They
Right.
have also changed over the years. Like,
wait. I just got to understand this. He's saying that Leviticus said that you shouldn't eat pork and shrimp because we couldn't keep it fresh, and now we can, and so that's okay.
one of the arguments, and Scott, I think this happened at the breakfast that we were at. Was it was either him or Michael, who was one of his friends that he brought along to this breakfast, was started getting into this topic, and was talking about, well, a lot of the reason that those things were in the book of Leviticus back in 2,000 years ago was because so many people would eat this or eat that, or they would wear this type of thing, and they'd either get sick from the food or they'd get allergic reactions from the things that they were wearing, and blah blah whatever, and that's the reason that those were put into the book of the Bible at the time. And now, because 2,000 years later, science and medicine and all of that stuff has advanced so much farther than it was 2,000 years ago, that, okay, well, now it's okay to ignore. Well, yeah, because Scott has brought that up several times on Paul's show. Okay. Well, actually, no. It was Doug at the breakfast. That's what it was. It was Doug that asked them point blank. He said, okay, which parts? Tell me exactly which parts I'm supposed to ignore and which ones I'm supposed to go with. Because evidently you guys have all of the answers. Because it's okay to pick and choose what you want to believe and what you don't want to believe. And how convenient that must be to follow this book and be saved by the glory of God. But at the same time, things like, gay marriage and just even two men or two women being together is abhorrent. Like, you can't do it. Like,
Yeah,
how does that make any
I
sense?
even asked on Paul's show. I think I even asked him, "Do you eat shellfish?" And he skirted around it. I'm like, "Well, I don't want shellfish." I'm like, "Do you eat shrimp?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I love shrimp." I'm like, "Done.
Mm-hmm.
It's shellfish." It's in the same chapter of the book that says that homosexuality is an abomination,
Yep.
and you should be put to death. It's the same law. So,
But no, they get to pick and choose those parts.
right, and I'm so glad I've kept my myself or my anger, whatever it is, which is rare on certain things, but um, that I didn't call a show and just say, look, you can't just be so obsessed. It's like that those memes that you see all the time on Facebook, straight pride. That's so stupid and offensive.
Well, yeah, and that's just because the only reason that we ever had gay pride is to bring awareness and to, you know, to just show that we're just people too.
Well, not only
And
that,
you
Jerry,
should be
because
thankful that you don't have to fight for your
there you go.
right,
Yeah,
to be just be and to be left alone. Now, I mean, now come on now, what is it going to be next? I mean, so I'm going to say it's going to take a good 4 or 5 years before, all of this is weeded out and it's a non-issue. But what are they going to go for next?
well, now they're saying that polygamy want their rights or bestiality wants rights,
Well,
and that's just
how
ridiculous.
about all the polygamy that's running through the Bible?
Right? Well, yeah. Well, exactly. They want to ignore that, but the bestiality thing I think is hilarious because I have two
Yeah,
dogs
that's what
upstairs
we
with my
want.
muffin, and they can't sign a legal document.
That's that because that's what we want.
Right.
We really, really just want.
I know. It's almost comical, and it's everyone gets on black comedians, and maybe I'm going a little off topic, but hear me out. Everyone gets on black comedians for being racist, for saying racial slurs, for using the N word. But do you know why the black comedians are saying things about white people? Because their ancestors were slaves and they got freedom. And they have some animosity towards the white man. I get that.
No, I
Okay.
don't agree with that.
All right, fine. Go on.
It wasn't your struggle.
Okay.
It wasn't their struggle. So anybody that pulls that card that wasn't part of that didn't live like that, I look, it happened. It was terrible. It was disgusting, whatever. But it ended how long ago?
Well, see, no,
200 plus years ago?
no,
We can't
no,
be. But
no.
it's just
It
like I hate when
was
people do that. It's like, I mean, it's like me saying, you know, oh my God, you got to feed me every day because the Irish people and the potato famine and all that
No,
stuff.
no, no,
Like,
no, no, no. That's not what I'm
you
saying.
know,
But Tyler, go on. You were going to say something.
no. You. Hang on.
Okay. Okay.
Hang on. No, I'm sorry. No, it was 150 years ago
okay,
this year. It was 1865.
Okay.
there is nobody
That's what I thought
alive.
it was. No,
There
there's
is nobody
not.
alive.
But oh, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. This is one instance where I might lean a little bit more towards what Scott is saying.
Thank you.
In the respect of Jerry, you are completely right. None of this happened to them. None of this happened to people that are alive today. And if you were to take comedians that are going today, since Scott got us on the comedian track, and we are going way off topic, but I want to go into this for a second. None of their, even comedians today, none of their parents, grandparents, and possibly even great-grandparents were necessarily directly affected by this. They may have had some sort of, like their great-grandparents may have known somebody who had been a slave at some point. But here's where I will say that the animosity and everything still plays a large factor, is because you take things like Ferguson, or like Baltimore, or like even the South Carolina incident at the church with the shooting and everything, and now they just took down the flag finally from the state capitol in South Carolina. All of that is continuing to happen for a reason that is racially motivated and has deep roots in something that happened, something that was abolished 150 years ago. It's still a very large factor. Now, Jerry, where I do agree with you is I don't think that any of these guys necessarily have the right to hide behind that, but I don't think that they can be denied that as a part of their history. I mean, if they truly are...
No, I don't. Yeah, I won't deny that, but they can't
Right.
claim.
Right, no, I mean, they can't claim,
I don't think they're
at this
claiming
point, 150 years removed, that they were in any way directly impacted by that. But generations of black people, especially in the South, are still being affected by all of this stuff. That there may not be laws anymore, but the bigotry and hatred still runs deep in places. And again, I don't... Because we had this discussion with somebody in the comments in one of the very early episodes, and I don't want to label the entire South as a bunch of redneck gun-toting yeehaw. I don't want to do that, because just like everywhere, there are very decent people and there are very evil people.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that. But I think that even to this day, I grew up and I lived most of my life in a very white-surrounded Minnesota. But I have lived out of the state, and I've lived in other areas that have been very racially diverse. And there is a drastic difference between even the difference between a poor white neighborhood and a poor black neighborhood all throughout this country. And so I think that, Scott, I don't think that what you said was necessarily 100% correct, but I get where you were going with it.
Yeah, and
on
that's
the comedian route.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I was going with it. I mean, and it's maybe a good segue, because we've been off for a week, to kind of talk about the flag, to talk about the Confederate flag, if we will. I don't know if we want.
I'm going to leave that up to Jerry, because
that's
this is
huge.
his, and we've derailed off of his topic. So
yeah,
talk about it, because I mean, like, I like that we talk, like, the whole religion thing, but I do like to cover, like, some of the current events that aren't necessarily based on religion, because I mean, I would like to think that we're all inclusive and it's happening in the world around us, and that's
but one of the things to talk about too is this, it happened in a church.
Yeah.
The South Carolina
talk about
thing.
it, because that happened weeks ago and we haven't been able to talk about that. So
Yeah, and
Yeah, I wanted
I
to.
wanted to talk about that too. And it just um, the thing is that bothers me, and I hate to sound like a Republican. Um,
So don't.
I'll try not
So
to.
don't. Yeah.
I'll really try not to. Is that the media, and I hate that term, media. We always talk about the shooter, but we never talk about the victims. The Sandy Hook. People can you can mention, I don't know who the shooter's name was. It doesn't matter, but we can't mention one victim. We can't remember one victim. Why can't we sell it? Why we have to focus on the person that did this horrible crime at a church or at a school or at Fort Hood or whatever? That's what gets me, is that these people were there for a Bible study, and some psychopath monster shot nine and killed nine people. Whatever the motive was, there are people in a church doing what they do to make them feel good. And I have no bones about what people do. I want people to pray. I want people to serve God. I want people to believe in God. Unfortunately, I don't. But did they,
Unfortunately.
or or fortunately, doesn't. I'm not going to put a qualifier on it. Hi, Kitty. Um, but people died, and now we have to have this big issue over a flag. And now TV Land has to get rid of
Yank the Dukes of Hazard.
the Deuce of Hazard, which I think is stupid, in my humble opinion, because the Deuce of Hazard wasn't racially based at all. Can we unpack that?
I had
Really?
a couple of people that
Unpack that.
Well, it's from my friend Roy.
I know, but
Oh,
really,
you've seen the
'cause that
episode?
kind
Oh,
of
you saw
annoyed
that?
me.
Okay, yeah, you saw that. Sorry.
Sorry, Tyler.
there were
Love you, Jerry. He's some
the whole media thing really kind of got to me too,
Okay.
because well, and they just, it's so drastically different if it's some white guy that does it
Mhm.
versus anybody else. And so
What do you mean by that?
a couple of my friends on Facebook that day had posted a couple of things, but one of them was it was a link to one of the articles from a website that actually had deemed it a hate crime, which is exactly what it was.
Right.
But as far as how the media spins it, so she attached to this as well. Muslim shooter, entire religion guilty. Black shooter, entire race guilty. White shooter, mentally troubled lone wolf.
But it's true.
I mean,
That's
seriously.
how the media
Seriously.
Yeah.
plays
It is. And then she also had...
Well, I'm sorry, not the media. The right side.
right. Well, but even
Maybe the left side.
even some of what would... Yeah, the lame stream media, whatever. Some of those had a hard time, but there was also a Daily Show clip where Jon Stewart kind of ripped apart Fox for them trying to dance around the whole racially motivated thing for a really long time, and that if you have some time, go check that out. But she also retweeted one other thing from one of her friends. And this was so basically captions here, but so White Killer, quote, "I am a racist. This was racially motivated." The media, quote, "Whoa there, buddy. We don't know all the facts. Give us time." Because seriously, again, like, you have a really messed up white guy, goes in, brutally takes out 9 people, admits firsthand, has a manifesto. I mean, has all of this stuff planned and all this stuff is coming out, and says that he was trying to start another civil war. And you have media outlets going, oh, I don't know. We don't have all the facts yet. I don't know. Let's not jump to any conclusions. But you would have one Muslim guy or one black guy, and they would be all over that.
Right. Same having manifesto, same coming out, saying whatever they're going to say. I'm trying to start this. And they're like, yeah, okay.
But not
Unless it's
even that. That's the
terrorism. Yeah,
thing.
right.
That's the thing is
Right, true. They don't need that information.
some
They just automatically assume. Because it's
right.
never a messed up person, because science hasn't proven that we're all the same inside. It's just a different skin color on the outside. I can't say that I'm not guilty of my thoughts about certain people, you know, and especially the people that live downstairs from me. By the way, they're moving out at the end of the month. Yay!
I did not see that
But
coming.
I mean, I can't say that I'm not guilty of it. But you're right. I mean, they just automatically assume because the person is Middle Eastern that they're a terrorist, or that because they're black, then they're, you know,
A
it's
gangsta.
yeah, and it's whatever, and it's just not. It's just not. It's all the same. Scott, you look like you have something you want to say.
No, I've nothing to say.
No.
Surprisingly, no. I really don't. I just can't we all just get along?
Okay, Rodney King.
Well, no, I mean, gosh, it just
That has become one of the. I mean, like, one of the best lines ever. Like, it is really the best line ever. Like, can't we all just get along? It's the best question in the entire world, but it has also become one of the worst catchphrases of
it
all time.
is, yeah. I mean, it really is. Um, I just don't get it. Why things are such a big issue, like a flag. Okay, I don't know anything about the Confederate flag. I don't care. I really don't care. But oh my God, the General Lee has a Confederate flag on it. Let's remove all the episodes because it has a flag on it. But never mind the premise of the show. It's just two dudes running from the cops, and they go over cool jumps, right?
But I think that it's all about context. I mean, when and that's where it gets to be such a tricky thing, is because, okay, so you take the General Lee, which was the car, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
In on it you have the Confederate flag painted. Okay, so in the context of the show, the flag is painted on the car because these guys are rebels.
Right.
Okay, and they're rebelling against society and the police that are always chasing them down and all of that kind of stuff. Okay, well, that's fine. So, but why is that flag considered a rebellious symbol? Okay, well, it's considered a rebellious symbol because it is the Confederate flag from the Confederate States of America when the states seceded from the Union, and they decided for, 4.5, 5 years, whatever it was, that they were no longer going to fly the Stars and Stripes, and they didn't. I mean, those flags were taken down, they were destroyed, they were burned, whatever, and they rose a new flag. They were a separated nation from the United States of America. And they rose this flag, and they proudly waved this flag during the entire Civil War in all of the capitals and all of the major battles because they were rebelling and they were protesting against the United States, against Abraham Lincoln, against the Congress at the time, because they outright made it their platform and wanted to continue being racist bigots, and they wanted to continue owning other human beings. So, and the funny thing is, I just had this conversation the other day with Mike, actually, Scott. Scott and I both know our friend Mike, and he is of a more, I guess, right-wing agenda, which is fine, because we've known each other for a long time, we get along very well. But we got into this, and I truly believe that it has so much to do with context. The thing that I am, I guess, more upset or ticked off about than anything else is that it's taken 150 years.
No. It took people dying.
Which was 150 years later.
No, I agree. No, I'm not. I'm certainly not trying to minimize the the tragedy is what kicked this off.
Right.
But what I'm saying is the fact that that flag should have been taken down, burned, and outlawed in 1865.
Sure.
It should have never even gotten to the point that people died and we're even having this conversation in the year 2015. That flag should never have even, it shouldn't have ever even been painted on top of that car to then now have episodes removed and have merchandise pulled from stores and all of that kind of stuff 150 years later. That's my point.
Because you're saying when the Confederate States unseceded from the Union,
When they
rejoined
rejoined
the Union, then that flag should have just, because that flag was
it's a representation
of the
of
Confederate
all
States,
of the hate and bigotry that culminated in our country splitting into two and having a civil war over owning other human beings. Like, that's the part that I cannot get past. I mean, yes, at the end of the day, is it just a piece of painted cloth that's flying on top of a flagpole? Yes, that's all it is. But it symbolizes so much more.
You know, it's funny. We were talking about past guests, and hi, Stephanie. Hi, Gavin. But no, this is such a good topic. When we talk about past guests, I wonder how G-Man feels about it now.
You know, I actually just thought about this. It, like, literally probably the same thought that you had. Like, my thought was, well, does G-Man fly the Confederate flag?
Yeah.
Because he believes that it's okay to own other people.
Yeah. You know, and it doesn't matter. He's not here, but I mean, it validates a good question, because, you know, we want to make sure that people have the, you know, right, you know, appropriate time. You know, we kind of, you know, chimed on Paul, and, you know, we thanked, you know, Rand Campbell for being fantastic and honest and just fantastic. But, you know, yeah,
You said fantastic twice.
I don't care, because he deserves it twice. But yeah, does G-Man feel that the Confederate flag? He's now removed himself from YouTube, removed himself from G Plus and all that stuff, so he's on a hiatus, and that's fine. But yeah, I wonder how he feels about the Confederate flag now, as a black man. But it doesn't matter. We're going to get the answer, but it poses a really interesting question.
I guess my only other, I don't know, follow up, but I guess addendum to that would be if you walked down the street and you saw somebody outside the front of their house flying an ISIS flag
Yeah.
or a flag, an Iranian flag. I mean, even though we're not technically at war with Iran, we're not on the best of terms. But again, or during World War II, somebody flying a German flag, like, I mean, any of that kind of stuff. Why don't we tolerate any of that? But yet, for 150 years, we tolerated a Confederate flag flying outside of a courthouse or a state capitol of one of our states. It just, I guess that's my kind of, I will leave it at that as kind of my final thought on that topic, because I really, that was the biggest thing. I mean, the tragedy was one thing, and that racism and that bigotry and all of that will kind of still be there, but I don't even want to say that the flag was the catalyst for it, but it certainly didn't help temper things. It still stood as a symbol for how long, and it should have never been there in the first place. We
And
shouldn't be
also,
having this conversation.
right, and also, and we can go on another hour on this. I'm just going to touch this very quickly, but the other black churches that were burned down
True.
during this too. I mean, what is going on? It's just sad.
Well, I actually, let me see if I can remember this correctly.
He said it like I actually burned down one of those churches.
Shut up, Scott.
I'm kidding now.
I referred to him before. I've told you guys about him on Sirius XM, the one radio show that I listened to, Michelangelo Signorelli. He had a guest on. She wrote a book. I don't remember what the name of the book was, or a report or something about that happening, and there was an increase in churches burning. And, after some investigations, it's really not such an increase, I think that they said, but, they did find that one or two more than normal were arson because of that, but it wasn't like a huge increase in the numbers, or it hasn't been a huge increase in the numbers.
It's another one of those things that everybody's senses are heightened.
Right.
Like after Ferguson happened,
Right.
every little thing about police brutality or white on black violence or anything like that. And again, I'm not trying to minimize it or diminish it at all, because it is a very real thing. However, all of our senses, when a massive event like Ferguson happens, all of our senses are then heightened. And then Charleston happens, and these other, churches get burnt and stuff like. I mean, so everybody's senses are already heightened, and we're all super aware of what's going on those terms. So, I've also heard similar things in past cases of where activity might go up just a little bit, but it's not necessarily, spiking to an all-time high just because of one event happening. It's just because we're all noticing it happening.
Right. So, it's because of this 24-hour news cycle and the internet and Facebook and Twitter and all of that. As great as, and I've said this before and I can't say it enough, as great as social media is, and as much as I enjoy Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google Plus, this whole, what is so funny?
I'm sorry, Jerry, you were frozen like this for like a minute and a half.
I was gonna ask you if you saw that. Like, I'm just gonna wait and.
You guys were frozen too, and I have this like little, little hang skin thing. You know how like your skin cracks there, and it hurts really, really bad.
Sorry, yes, but I agree. Yes, the 24-hour news cycle, social media,
Right.
it is. It's all insane to think about. You know, I so many times, you know, within a day or a week or whatever, I think about the things that are going on in the world and the way that news would have transpired and I would have learned about it when I was my son's age, my oldest son's age. So, like, when I was 7, how would I have found out about things? How did things, how did news transpire? And just in that difference of one generation, how connected and plugged in we are to everything, and how it's constant. I mean, I'm constantly getting alerts of, this thing burnt down, this thing, this person's arrested. I'm like, I knew all of the South Carolina Congress passing the bill and the governor signing it to take down the Confederate flag. All of that was happening in real time in front of my face because I'm sitting here doing something. All of a sudden, bloop, alert, bloop, alert. Bloop. I'm like, it's all just happening right there.
Yeah.
Whereas, it may have been relegated to a 30-second or minute story on the evening news back when I was, on a major network, and I would have maybe heard about it, in the fall when I went back to school or something, because I'm a kid outside playing in the sandbox. Like,
or even on a newspaper the next day.
Right, exactly. So I agree too. I think everything is just highly amplified because of the technologically connected world that we live in. So, Scott, you seem distracted by the technology.
No, I mean I agree. I mean Ariana Grande. I mean, hating America and licking a donut.
You didn't hear about that, Tyler?
Now, keep in mind, I have been on
TMZ, sorry.
vacation for the last week and a half, and I have been disconnected.
I'm making a joke about TMZ. Sorry, that's mine.
No, but it's funny because she's not a great singer, and then she goes in a donut shop with her boyfriend and licks donuts, and then she's offered a free sample because Ariana Grande has the need to not pay for something. She's offered a free sample, and she goes, "What the F is that? I hate America. I hate Americans." And then, walked out.
Ariana Grande, I don't know who Ariana Grande is, actually.
Well, she started off on some Nickelodeon shows.
That was Britney Spears.
Was it Nickelodeon or Disney?
No, it was Nickelodeon. Well,
okay.
It pains me to know that you know this. Oh.
Hey, those shows like Sam and Cat and that, is that on Nickelodeon? Yeah, all right, Nickelodeon. I was right. All right. Perfect.
That was actually pretty funny.
Huh? Oh, because these we were trying to figure out if it was on Nickelodeon or Disney. Okay. Thank you. That is my pop culture expert back there.
Yes. Final thoughts. I don't know. This is a kind of a mixed bag episode, but I think I think a title for this is absolute bigotry.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll definitely see how we're going to title this one.
Scott, I really don't have anything. I gave my.
I don't either. Everyone is so bloody sensitive about, and that's on both sides to me. It's about, oh gosh, damn gays, man. Damn it, Jerry. Y'all get your rights. But I don't know. I'm so, because if I'm this way and I can't be this way, I'm so.
What hurt?
Butthurt, Jerry, is a term that that I don't know the name of. But let me unpack this for a second. Tyler has no idea what we're talking about when I say unpack, which is even better.
That's not better.
Please
Tyler, just be
finish.
glad you don't know.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm just at my wit's end with everything being against everything. I think that's my final thought. Why does everything have to be against everything? And that goes on all sides of the fence. We're not, at least for us three, we're not against people who want to pray because, look, 9 people sadly passed away. Hi, Kitty. Passed away because of some freaking psychopathic, racist piece of crap. Gays can get married, and bigoted pieces of crap have to spout off their hate. What the hell? Why does that make your world better? How does that make you, feel good? Oh, you're a piece of crap, and I'm going to burn your church down. I'm going to picket your whatever. How does that make you feel better? I don't get that. Kitty, come on, Kitty.
It's just because they don't feel good about themselves, so they have to go around trying to make others feel bad.
Yeah, take it home, Jerry.
If there's always somebody feeling worse than yourself, you're gonna feel like that's their thought. Oh, well, I don't feel good about myself, so I'm gonna make you feel bad so that I can feel better about myself. And that's just where it comes from. Like you just need to worry about yourself. If you're that unhappy with your life, you need to figure out what it is in your life that's making you so unhappy and go and fix your life and leave me alone.
That being said, close us out, Jerry. Okay, bye. Thank you for watching Positively Godless. Look at the links below or in the screen or wherever they are and talk to us. Bye. Stupid. What?
That was awful.
It's still recording.
Up into there, and then you just take that and feed it to the fish. But those things are like more microscopic than Scott's penis.
Is my camera working?
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I can see him.
Yeah, damn it.
Jerry's frozen again.
He could be standing still, fixing his glasses.
Oh no, where'd he go?
Oh. You again.
Jerry, you there?
Jerry? No, I don't think so.
Smashing.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I really don't think so. God,
Yeah, I can see you. Oh, that time you didn't pee.
I know. I should have.
Are you sure you don't have a prostate problem?
No.
It's not enlarged?
Well, it's enlarged, but that's none of your business.
I wasn't talking about that. I said your prostate.
Oh, prostate. I don't know. I'd have Elsa check that. I heard that's actually pretty good with other things, too.
No. Well, do you have problems when you pee? Does it, like, not come out right?
What do you mean, right?
Like, does it come out, like, slow?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, you probably should go to the prostate doctor.
And then it burns.
Yeah, you should stop drinking beer and drink more water.
I'm drinking Diet Coke right now.
Well, you're not drinking water. I've never seen you actually drink a drop of water.
Well, you don't see me at 8 a.m. when I arrive at my work.
Okay. 8 ounces of water is not enough for you.
Well, it's not 8 ounces. It's maybe an ounce.
Okay, yeah. You need to drink more water, 1. And then your pee won't be yellow and stinky.
It doesn't smell that bad.
I'm sure it smells.
But then again, I'm sitting down when I pee.
Are you a girl? My God, I swear to God, you're gayer than me. This
Why?
week on Positively God.
Go on.
No, that's not the conversation I want to have as the intro to the show. It was already bad
Have
enough
you
that last one
seen
we had
19 other episodes we've had?
the poop talk, my sharing poop with my family. Pictures.
That was the last episode. This is no different.